Welcome back to the John Mendola Show here. 10:21 at WILK. Not a bad day. Parade day in Scranton. Parade day tomorrow in Wilkes-Barre. And, of course, the weather's been a little tough on us, but spring sports are just around the corner. We'll talk North Pocono baseball in just about 7 minutes or so. But first, let's talk with Times Leader's beat writer for wrestling, Dave Rosengrant. And, Dave, welcome into the show today.
Good morning, John. How you doing?
Good. Well, calling from Hershey, and you're doing a heck of a job. And tell us a little bit about what we've got from the Wyoming Valley Conference, and then we'll get over to the Lackawanna Conference. But what happened with our wrestlers in the Wyoming Valley Conference the last couple of days?
Nothing too impressive, John. Unfortunately, they made some bad history this weekend. The entire conference wiped out from the medal this year for the first time in 46 years.
That's a tough weekend.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positives going with it, though. I mean, 5 of them are underclassmen. They'll have another shot next year. They were all pretty upset after not getting a medal. They all won a match down here. That's another positive. And after they lost in the blood round, the round to decide whether you go home or get a medal, they were all visibly disappointed. So, they have that hunger, they have that fight to get back next year, and they're not happy just getting here. They want that medal. So there's a lot of positives going on. Sure, there's some negatives setting that kind of history, but there's a lot of positives to look forward to as well for them. Watching
some of the results from Thursday, as it starts to unfold, you start seeing guy escapes with 3 or 4 seconds to go. Somebody scores a takedown at the last possible second. It goes into a ride-out situation, and we lose. So there were a lot of situations that just didn't go our way for our kids here in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's right. There were a lot of really close matches. Like you said, all those things happened in the last couple seconds. Take a look at Caleb Conegus from Lake Lehman, heavyweight. Two of his 3 matches were decided by 1 point. That's just how it is. That happens here all the time. Dave Evans from Tunkhannock, 106-pounder little guy, he was winning. He was within 1 point of his quarterfinal match yesterday, and the kid he was wrestling got called for a stall in the first period. Never got hit with another one. If he got hit with another one, that's a point for Evans. That ties up the match right there. So, all these kind of things that are, like you said, they just go either way. You're either on the good end or the bad end of it sometimes.
Lackawanna Conference did have a positive showing and even got a guy in the final, right? Yeah,
just minutes ago. Willie Evanitsky from Scranton won his state semi to get into the final at 152. He won 5-4. The match went into the second tiebreaker, and he got awarded a caution point. And that's one of those instances we were just talking about. You get a caution point in the late in the match, and he's going to the state final.
Awesome to hear. Ivan Balavich, positive stuff. The Burgett kid, Hivner, reeling off a couple off the top of my head. You could fill in the blanks if I miss one or two.
Yeah, Ivan Balavich from Scranton Prep, he's in AA. He's going to finish either 3rd or 4th today. Cole Fuller, Western Wayne, Owen Hivner, Lackawanna Trail, also in AA. They will wrestle for 7th later on today. And you mentioned Burgett. He's at 160 in AAA from Scranton, and he will finish no less than 6th after he just won his 4th round consolation match. So he's going to wrestle again in the 5th round of consolations, and that'll decide whether he will be in the 3rd place match or the 5th place match later on tonight.
Lots of positives, as you say, with what the Lackawanna Conference did, and as you said, some underclassmen there in the Wyoming Valley Conference. Dave, it's been a pleasure for the last month of hearing from you with districts and regionals and states, and people could, of course, pick up a copy of the Times Leader, follow you on Twitter, but Dave Rosengrant from the Times Leader has done a tremendous job. Thank you again for your help.
Thanks a lot, John. All
right, Dave Rosengrant doing a great job there with the Times Leader following high school wrestling again this season. 10:25 at WILK. We come back, we're going to talk North Pocono baseball. Let's take a time out. Head over to our local State Farm insurance agent, Daryl Hubbard. Break like a good neighbor. Daryl Hubbard is there. We'll be back on WILK.